Hi everyone. Right, okay, so this is a tutorial video on how to learn A string hoedown. Now there is also already another video that I've done on the Solihull Music Service YouTube channel, which is called A string hoedown. Now that one was made a couple of months ago, and all it is we've got the music on the video, as in this music on the video, and I just quickly explain how it fits together, because you do have to play to the end and go back and play the first and second lines again. So I just explain that in a little bit more detail, and then I play it through with the proper speed backing track, so what is number 23 on the CD, if you use the CD. Now this video is going to be more of a help video, an actual a how-to, and to help you learn it and also show you how to practice it, okay? So the kind of stuff I would say to you in a lesson. Right, okay, my voice has gone a bit weird. Right, okay, so the first thing I would say, in a moment I'm going to get my violin and we're going to go through bit by bit. I'm going to play bits to you, I'm going to count in so you can play along with me, etc. Okay, but just before we do that, I'm just going to talk a little bit on what's the best thing to do to begin with. Best thing to do to begin with is to listen to it. So if you have not already listened to it, then please either get your CD and have a listen to it. So we've got track 23 is our quick speed, and track 31 is a slow speed, okay? If you don't have a CD, if you've lost it or it's a bit scratched, or actually what's more likely is you don't have a CD player, best thing to do is you can still listen to it, but you just need to find it on YouTube, okay? So go to your computer, type in A string hoedown, it will come up. It will come up with a slow backing track, and it will come up with just A string hoedown backing track. So that one I just said, A string hoedown backing track, is track 23 on the CD, and then the slow backing track is track 31, because that's a slow practice track. Now 23 is really quick. So the one that just says backing track on YouTube is really quick, and it's really difficult to get A string hoedown all the way through perfectly at that speed. Track 31, on the other hand, is really slow. In the early days of learning this, in your early days of learning this, track 31 will be really helpful, but very soon you'll be like, oh, it's too slow, it's too slow. So this is where using YouTube comes in as a real help. And this is only something that I learned quite recently. So apologies if you already know this, but it's a really handy thing to know. So if you don't, if you don't know that already, so I'm going to carry on talking. So if you bring up A string hoedown, just normal backing track, so not the slow one, on YouTube, if you have a look at the bottom right hand side of the video screen on YouTube, there are some icons. One of them looks like a little cog, and if you click on that little cog, it's a settings, it will bring up a list, one of which is playback speed. Now if you have been messing about with it already, it might not say normal, but it should say normal, and at this point if you change that to 0.75, so 0.75, it will just make it a little bit slower. It might sound a bit slow to begin with if you've just listened to the normal speed, but honestly that little bit slower makes it so much more achievable for you, okay? So and this is something that I do in my lessons, okay? So hardly any of my pupils manage to play A string hoedown perfectly with track 23, okay? So there's a little secret for you. Most of the time we slow it down a little bit. So that's the first thing to say. Yes. Oh, and I'm just going to quickly say about the about not playing things quite as quickly as they should be. At 0.75 speed on YouTube, like I've just explained, you are still going to have to move your fingers pretty quickly to get around all your different notes. It's still going to be a real challenge, okay? So I don't see that as a failure at all, okay? So it's something definitely to work towards. And at this stage of your learning, if you are at this stage, A string hoedown, then you can use all three of your fingers, and you're trying to get better at using those. You're trying to make a really nice sound, etc. And you are, believe it or not, heading towards grade 1. You're not quite there yet, but we are heading there. So at this point in your violin learning, we should be trying to do 3 things when we play our pieces. One should be to make a nice sound. We don't want to have too many squeaks. Now, how do we make our sound? We make our sound with our bow. You can do this until the cows come home, guys, but there's no sound coming out, okay? So we make all our sound with our bows. So it's really important that we try to press the right pressure. We don't want to press too hard. We don't want to press too quietly. When we go between strings, or what we call string crossings, which you don't have to do in A string hoedown, just like to point out, because the whole thing's on the A string. But when we move from string to string, we often get some squeaks. It might just be, like I said, an A string hoedown. You only play on the A string, but it might be that you hit other strings as you're playing. So that makes squeaks. So that's something we want to try and do as well as we can. We want to make a really good sound. Second thing we want to do is we want to play in tune. Okay, so we need to make sure these fingers are on our stickers. We also need to make sure we are making good habits and that we are not letting our wrist come out like this. We do not want a squash bob. We want to have a nice straight line down there so we get into good habits, okay? And the last thing we want to be able to do is to play pieces all the way through without making a mistake and without stopping. Okay, now if you put that on 0.75 playback speed on the computer, I promise you, you will be able to do those three things much, much better than if you play it with the normal speed. So if you manage to do it with track 23, fantastic, or normal speed, brilliant, okay? But 0.75 is actually a much better thing to aim towards, if you ask me. Right, so I'm going to pick my violin now and we're going to go through bit by bit, okay, and we are going to learn A string hoedown. Okay, so, so from the start. So as I just said a moment ago, and you may not have realised at this point, it is all on the A string. It is called A string hoedown, not a string hoedown, which lots of children think it is. Okay, so it's really important that we make sure we do our right rhythms. So if we look at the beginning, it goes jogging, jogging, walk, walk, jogging, jogging, walk. Okay, hopefully you could have read that through with me for those first two bars. Now, when it's very, very easy to forget about doing the long notes. So lots of children will go, and that was not right. Okay, so it should sound like this. Have a listen. 2, 3, 4. Okay, so it's really important we get jogging, jogging, walk, walk, jogging, jogging, walk. Okay, this, by the way, I haven't really said anything about the speed I'm going yet, but this is a good speed to work out what you work at when you are learning your notes. Okay. Okay, now in those first two bars, the only thing that people often get wrong there is that they go, instead of in the second bar, instead of going 2, 2, 1, 1, 2, they go 2, 2, 1, 1, A. It's because you're taking your fingers off one by one. 2, 1, A. That's not correct, okay? So it's 2, 2, 1, 1, 2. So just watch out for that when you're doing it. It might even be worth writing a 2 on the on that last note in bar 2 to remind you. Then we put all our 3 fingers on for the next bit. So we go 3, 3, 3, 3, 2, A. So there's no 1 in that bar. So 2 straight to A, and then 1, 1, A, 1. So it should sound like this. I'm going to count in case you want to play with me. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, another thing people get wrong in that last bar of the first line is people always, my pupils always seem to go 1, 1, 2, 2, 1. It's not. 1, 1, A, 1. Okay, so just watch out for that, guys. Again, in the same way that I write a 2 on the last note in bar 2, I tend to write a 0. I should have probably put my violin down first, shouldn't I? I do tend to write a 0 on those notes there because, again, people often get that wrong. Right, okay, now the next 2 bars, so the first 2 bars on the second line are exactly the same as the beginning. So if you practice the first 2 bars, you're good to go on the first 2 bars of the second line as well. Now the third bar on the second line is the same as the third bar on the first line. If you have a look, you'll be able to see what I mean, but the last bar is different. So it should go 3, 3, 3, 3, 2, A, 1, 1, 2, 1, A. That's probably the most difficult bar we've encountered up to this point. So that last bar, 1, 1, 2, 1, A, will need a little bit of practice there, okay? So this is how that last section should sound. Okay, so third finger on, so it's the last 2 bars of line 2, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, so if we put all those together, I'm going to do that for you now, okay? I'm going to play at that speed, so if you have had a go at practicing this, you could try playing it along with me. But there's just one more thing we need to say before we do that. And at the beginning of each 2 bars, we have a down bow sign. So that means that at the end of every 2 bars, I need to point. It'd be easier if I point. So, at the end of the first 2 bars, we have a rest. So in that rest, we need to do a down bow retake. There we go, there's our down bow sign. Then we carry on, we've got a rest, down bow retake to start again on a down bow there, rest, down bow retake, and down bow retake again. So at the end of every 2 bars, we need to do a down bow retake. All right? Okay, so this is how it should sound all the way through. It might be that you want to have a listen to me play it and then wind the video back and then play along with me. It's entirely up to you. This is how the first 2 bars go at that nice slow speed, okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4. Hopefully, if you had a little play, well done. No matter how you got on, if it went well, excellent, well done. If it didn't, do some practice. Practice each little 2 bars at a time and then have another go at playing all the way through. Right, okay, we're going to move on to line 3. Now, it could well be that you've not come across some of these notes in line 3 before, okay? I'm not going to keep holding my music up because I can't hold my violin and the music and everything. So hopefully you're looking at your music as well. Now in the first bar of the last line, you should recognise those notes. That's jogging, walk, and we've got a little brick that sits on the 3rd line up, okay, the middle line of the stave, and that means a 2-beat rest, okay? So we've got jogging and a walk, that adds up to 2 beats, and then we've got 2 beats rest, okay? So we go jogging, walk, rest, rest, okay? We need to do a down bow retake in that rest, okay? Now in the next bar, we have what I call caterpillar, okay? Now this is a 1-beat note which has been divided into 4 notes. So they are a 1/4 of a beat each. Now the proper name for them is a semiquaver. So if you think about this for a second, guys, we've got a 1-beat note, which is a crotchet or a walk, I would call it a walk. And then that splits into 2. And we get 2 quavers. So the quaver is half each. So imagine you got your apple, you cut it in half, and we've got 2 halves. So those are your jogging, those 2 halves. 1 bit of apple is the jog, 1 bit of apple is the ging, jogging, okay? Those notes are called quavers, and those are half beat notes. Now, let's stick with the apple. Now I want you to imagine you've got your 2 halves of an apple, and I want you to cut your 2 halves of an apple in half again. And so what have we got now? We've got 4/4 of apples, okay? 4/4 of apple, okay? And that's what these ones are, semiquavers. So you've got to fit 4 notes into 1 beat, 1/4 of a beat each. Hopefully that's made sense. Now, I know it's walk and then it's jogging, so it's all about how fast we're moving our feet. But I prefer to use caterpillar for semiquavers, so that doesn't relate to walking and jogging, I know it doesn't, but it is quite fun to say. So we are going to go jogging, walk, caterpillar, walk. And we've got a 2-beat rest again. So obviously that was the first 2 bars of that last line. So if I play them, it's just open A. So all we've got to worry about is our bow, okay? So I'm going to count in and play the first 2 bars of the last line. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, jogging, walk, caterpillar, walk. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. Now, the notes in the next bar, they do look a bit weird with the violin down. So these notes, I hope you can't hear that, it's raining and it's really noisy on my conservatory roof. Okay, so these notes here, these are the funny ones. Okay, now, this one here, there we go, take all my fingers away. So this one here and this one here are the ones that you won't have seen before, probably, because they've got little tails on, can you see? Okay, so these ones are joggings that have lost their friends. So if we take a normal jogging, it's been 2 notes joined together, you can see we've got a line at the top there, we call this a beam, and that beam joins those 2 notes together. Hopefully you can see that okay. Now what's happened here is we've just got one of those notes and it's lost its friend that it's normally joined to. So its little tail is not hanging on to another note. But it's got to have a tail, because if it doesn't have a tail, it would look the same as that one, the one next door. But of course, the one next door to it is a 1-beat note. You should know that one. Okay, so what we've got here is a half-beat note, a 1-beat note, a half-beat note, and a 1-beat note. Tricky stuff, okay? So what we are going to say for this is we are going to say short, long, rest. Short, long, rest. Say it with me, I'm going to count in. Ready? 3, 4. Short, long, rest. Let's say all of those 3 bars in a row, okay? So we've got jogging walk, caterpillar walk, short, long, okay? But let's say it together in time after 3, 4. 3, 4. Jogging walk, rest, rest. Caterpillar walk, rest, rest. Short, long, rest. Hopefully that makes sense. If you would like to do it a few more times, wind your video back, just do it a few more times with me until you think you really know how that goes. Okay, when we get to the short, long, we've got to put our first finger on. Okay, so these 2 bars are both open A, as you can see. This one's the first finger, so you've got to put your first finger on now. Now, this last bar here, so I'll pick up my violin again in a second and play you the whole line. This last bar here, it's a couple of things to say about it. First of all, it's not a difficult rhythm or anything. Okay, so that's good. But there are quite a lot of notes in there, so I've got a way of saying it so that you get the right amount of notes and you can play it correctly, okay? And the other thing to say is that after this, we've got a D, C, Alfine, which means we go straight back to the beginning. Now, there is no rest there. There's no rest. So these quavers or joggings go straight through and don't stop and carry on there. Now, in terms of the notes, it goes 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 2, 1. That's how it goes, okay? So if I sing it without stopping, we're going back to the beginning, it will sound like this. 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 2, 1, A, 1, 1, etc. Okay? So what I need you guys to do when you practice this bar is I need you to practice those 4 A's there on the end of here. So you get used to playing the A so you can join it back up when you've sorted out this last line. Okay, if you get used to stopping every time when you get here, then it will be really difficult when it comes to putting it all together. It'll be really difficult for you to join it together because you'll be so used to stopping. Okay, so you need to practice doing this. 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 2, 1, A, 1, 1. Then you could probably stop because you practiced those 2 bars already, all right, to get those perfect before we got to the last line. Okay, that's really important. Now, it goes 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. So it's 3 lots of jogging on our finger 3 and then 2, 1. So if you say to yourself, it's jogging, 2, 1, A, 1, 1. That's a really good way of remembering because you will get exactly the right amount of 3s before you move to your 2. So on your 3rd finger, jogging, 2, 1, A, 1, 1, etc. Okay, grab the violin. Okay, so that last line then. We already had a go at jogging walk, caterpillar walk, didn't we? So first finger on for me. Get your violin. First finger on. This is the 3rd bar of the last line. And remember, we're going to go short, long, rest. Okay, so have a listen to me. Rest. Okay, let's try together, shall we? So first finger on the A string for me. 1, 2, 3, 4. Short, long. Good job if you managed it. Well done. Then after that 1, you're going to put your 2 and your 3 on. And we're going to go, I'm going to say the 3 jogging. So we're going to go jogging, 2, 1. And then you can stop, okay? It's really important to put that first bar on so you get used to doing that without stopping, okay? Right, so I didn't count in, did I? Let's do that again with me counting in, exactly the same thing. So it's the last bar of the last line going into the first bar of the first line, but we're going to count in so we can play it together. Ready? fingers, all 3 fingers on the A string for me. Don't squash bob. Haven't said that already, have I? So keep your arm down. Okay, here we go. Last bar. Ready? 3 fingers on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well done. So jogging, 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 2, 1, A, etc. Okay, let's do that whole of that last line together. Okay, so fingers at the ready, but you don't need them at the moment. Okay, but keep your hand there. So on the A, open A, this is the beginning of the last line. So we start with jogging, walk. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 3, 4. Short, long, 3. Jogging, 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 2, 1, 8, etc. Okay. Right, okay then guys, so anything that you need to go practice, you stop the video and you wind it back and you play any bits that you want to with me. That's what the video is there for, isn't it? When we go back to the beginning, just to so that we're clear, we play first 2 lines again and we stop at the end of the second line because it says fine. But just where my fingers are, it says play these 2 bars twice last time. So when you get to the fine, you then go back and you play that bar, and that bar again. So I'm going to play it all the way through now with it playing on my computer at 0.75 speed. Okay, so what I'd like you to aim for. And I'm just going to turn it up a bit, turn it right up, and if you want to have a play along with me you can, or you can have a listen to what you're aiming for, okay? Right, here we go. First finger, short, long, 3. Jogging, 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 2, 1, 8. Those 2 bars again. So, there we go. That is the tutorial of A string hoedown. I knew it would be a long video and I apologise for it being long, but there was lots to say about it. So, good luck learning it, guys. And yeah, remember everything I said. We want to try and make sure we've got a good sound, make sure your fingers are on stickers, don't squash bob. And like I say, aim for 0.75 speed on YouTube, because that's actually a nice speed to play it at, and you'll find it so tricky to do it with the proper speed. Best of luck.